Welcome to the broadcast, everyone. I am Jai Gobind and I am your channel for grace. Thank you so much for being here and watching this replay. If you're watching the replay and if you're here live, welcome to the Scope and the YouTube live, because we are live both on my Periscope channel and on my YouTube channel. So welcome in. Leanne, how are you? Greenie, how are you? Thank you guys for sharing and inviting. Hey, Zippity Doodah. Karen, welcome in. Intuit Ron, welcome in. You've been waiting for me? Nice. Well, I'm really glad I'm scoping then. Thank you for inviting and sharing, Greenie. So please share and invite this broadcast wherever you're watching from. This is our show, The Awakening, how to activate your the higher purpose in your DNA. Hi, Mai. I'm just kidding. Hey, Moody Crafter, welcome in. Open, Lopen, welcome in. Okay, so what we've been doing in this broadcast is going over this really awesome book called The Gene Keys, which is a book written by Richard Rudd. There's basically 64 of these gene keys, and the book is sort of like a modern version of the I Ching, which is a book that's like an oracle that has been used for many, many years as an oracle for people. It's written more in like a poetic way, the I Ching. This book is written more in ways that we can understand it in our modern time, and how basically the wisdom that is found within these gene keys can help us to awaken in a very deep cellular level our DNA, which, what does that even mean, right? Well, the bigger picture is that we are ascending as an Earth, as a planet. We're not the only planet that has life in the universe. I mean, if you still believe that, that's fine. The truth is, I don't believe that anymore. It's just not possible. And with all of the lost knowledge that is being basically found once again, we are discovering so many new things about the cosmos, so many new things about the truth of the universe and why we're here. And oh, that's so sweet, Greenie. And why we're, you know, what's our point? What's our purpose? Like, seriously, what are we doing here? And what we are doing here is learning to become ascended masters. We are learning to step into our power. We are learning to manifest our dreams, our realities in a way that we've never been able to before. And so now is the time to dive deep into what is your specific purpose. There's a way to get a map. It's your Gene Keys map. And the map is based on your, hey Shelly, based on your date of birth. It's based on the time you were born, and it's based on the place that you were born on the earth. So it uses, it uses your astrology. Shelly, thank you so much for inviting your followers. It uses your astrology, basically the coordinates and the moment that the stars and the planets were in, to determine what your specific gene key map is. And so what that gives you is a more deep look into who you are as a unique expression of basically this entire thing, right? So this is the book. I'll show it to you guys. It's called The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. Don't mind my blue hands. You can take a snapshot if you need to. But basically, these gene keys are the code. It's like your genetic code. It's like universal code. You know, when you become an ascended master, what happens is you move to a higher frequency, a higher vibration of who you are. And when you step into that role, you transcend all of your shadows, and you transcend all of these things that are such a low vibration of you. You know, we have to learn at some point how to move forward in life. You know what I mean? How to get there from where we are right now. And it's happening, and people are, you know, there's children being born right now that are so much more awakened, right? That's why I call this show The Awakening. They're so much more awakened than we are. It's like their DNA is going to be more of exploration into what their magical powers are. Us, it's more of a journey of discovering that we even have magical powers, right? Because there used to be, hey Pedro, welcome in, there used to be these beings in ancient India in the East that were called cities. And the reason they were called cities is because they had these magical powers. Excuse me, and these magical powers are basically things like they could levitate, or they were telepathic, or things like that, or they were like invisible or something like that. And these are stories, right? But the truth is that, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, like you've been invisible at some point, like literally walking around and no one knows you're there. They don't see you. It's like they can't see you. And that's kind of what being invisible means. It's like you just vibrate at a whole different frequency that people on a lower vibration, they can't see the higher vibrations. And that's what can happen. But these beings had these magical gifts, and they were called cities. And each of us, through our gene keys, can reach a level of transcendence called the city, or the divine gift of the city, of the gene key. And so we're going through this journey together in this broadcast and in this show called The Awakening that is going to guide us into this knowledge, into this wisdom. So every time I go live, we go through a whole new gene key. Yes. And we've already gone through 5 of them. And every time we go through another one, it's like, it just blows your mind. It takes you so deep into your awareness. It tests you to see if you really truly understand what these concepts are really about. And it asks you to literally step into a higher vibration and step into your heart space. So to move from your head space to your heart space. And that is what, excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Let's take a breath. Relax. Today has been a really crazy day. I don't know about you guys. I went to yoga class earlier today. And in the middle of class, not in the middle, it was actually towards the end, some drunk guy was outside the building, and he was like walking outside of the building, and there's glass windows, right? Again, hey there, how's it going? Against the windows. And so the guy walked by and punched all the windows as he was walking by. And then he threw this rock at the window while we were doing this yoga class. And this girl that was next to the window freaked out because it sounded like the window was gonna break and it would have shattered and it would have been bad. You know what I mean? Hey there, welcome in, Sarah. So that's basically like what was going on with that. And it was crazy. And then I was driving home, and on my way home, I literally saw this person rollerblading or roller skating, right, through the street to the sidewalk. he's like kind of going, and then he kind of like turns around. He's like about to like start going backwards, and he like hits this part of the concrete that's like not level. And he literally like falls backwards and like lands on his ass and his hand. And I was like, oh my God, is he okay? I was literally gonna stop if he didn't get up. You know what I mean? It was like one of the, like, it looked like such a crazy fall. I was like, dude, this guy needs help. So I watched him, and then he got up and he was like kind of holding his hand, like he probably hurt his hand because he like landed on it, you know? And I was like, what is going on today? It was just crazy. But anyways, that's kind of what I've been going through. Today's been a crappy day. It's snowing. Snowing is actually kind of cool. I like snow. So anyways, let us go into this 6th gene key. The 6th gene key has a shadow called conflict. When you move from the conflict into the gift, which is diplomacy, you kind of raise in vibration. You move from like one polar polarity to the other, right? But then when you transcend both of these, both of this shadow and gift, you actually ascend towards the city, which is peace. This is why I titled this broadcast, what is it? What did I title it? What is the true path towards peace? It begins with conflict, right? I mean, honestly, that's kind of how it works. So the 6th gene key is called the path to peace. The programming partner is the 36th gene key. The codon ring is the ring of alchemy, which is the 6th, the 40th, the 47th, and the 64th gene key. The physiology is mesenteric plexus, the lumbar ganglia, and the amino acid is glycine. Could not sleep last night, only got maybe 3 hours, but I'm so happy. Yeah, I actually did sleep last night. Thank God. Thank God. But I did feel really like tired all day. I didn't get a chance to watch what the Leo King has said about today in general, but he did go live last night in his deep astrology show, so I need to go back and watch that replay because I'm sure there's some crazy stuff going on this week that I seriously need to know about. Oh, the other thing I should tell you guys before I start reading is that I have released already 2 new videos on my YouTube channel. One of them is the first of a series of videos called the Lightworker series, and they are to help you discover knowledge, to help you understand on a very deep level kind of where you are as a light worker, and to help you kind of understand and learn new things that are important to know if you're going to be in this realm of like light worker, right? Hey Don, welcome in. So this is what this is all about. And the first video that I released is a video on how to pick the perfect oracle cards for you, or how to pick the perfect tarot card for you. I know that seems like for a lot of us who are in tune with our intuition, it seems like well, that's easy. But for some people that are just now diving into like wanting to communicate with their higher self, oracle cards are actually a great way to do that, right? To start to learn to receive messages from spirit. Eventually you don't need the oracle cards at all, but it's a great place to start, and some people really need like those baby steps. So that's the first video I released called the Lightworker series. What is a light worker? A light worker is someone who brings more light into the world. They have been, they chose before being born that this is what was going to be their mission. And so because we're born into the world as a person, and we forget who we are, we forget what we said we were going to do, we kind of like jump into the game of the earth, the board game earth, and we have to discover, like rediscover what our mission is. So if you're a light worker, I'm actually going to make a video of how exactly can you tell if you're a light worker. And there are certain criteria. I'm not going to get into it right now, but there's certain criteria where you most likely are a light worker if blah, 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 right? That kind of stuff. But good question. Oh, I'm definitely watching that next. Yes, there will be. Oh, here we go again. So, so then the other YouTube video that I released is my cover of the song Hallelujah. So make sure you guys go check that out and follow the YouTube channel. It's like scrolling down at the bottom of the screen, but it is Channel for Grace on YouTube. So let's go ahead and begin reading this about this 6th gene key. Hey Mary, welcome in. So the 6th shadow is conflict. It's called the battle of the sexes. The 6th shadow of conflict is the simple, most influential gene key in regard to the issue of human communication. At its highest potential, the 6th gene key is an archetype of peace on earth. Welcome in, guys. While at its lowest potential, it is the root cause of all human conflict. This conflict stems from the human emotional system and our inability to handle the voltage of extreme emotional states. Yeah, and I hope you guys like it, but go check out that video on YouTube. As long as you surrender your will to the emotional system, then you will be trapped by its volatile nature. Hey Nelson, welcome in. Thank you for inviting your followers. Within the human body, the sixth shadow relates to the pH level of your blood. Well, that's interesting. Its job is to maintain an optimum balance of acidity and alkalinity so that your cells can thrive. As a metaphor on a wider scale, we can see that the sixth shadow is about the loss of this balance in the world at large. Thanks for the hearts, you guys. And if you want to make a little donation, you can give some super hearts or even do a donation to my PayPal channel so we can continue to keep this channel alive and going. And the PayPal link, my PayPal link is paypal.me/Eagle Star Yoga. So, in particular, it is about the imbalance between male and female, and over time has given rise to the notion of the battle of the sexes. This battle or conflict is not just about men and women. It is about the balance of all polarities, religion and science, east and west, rich and poor. The world itself has its own kind of pH level, and wherever it is imbalanced, conflict ensues. That's a really interesting way to look at it. The world has its own kind of pH level. That's cool. In the same way that an overbalance of acidic body tissues become an environment for viruses and cancer to thrive, so do social imbalances result in upheaval, corruption, and, at their worst, war. The sixth shadow can be interpreted individually through relationships or collectively through communities. At an individual level, this shadow manifests through your emotional state. Hey Diana, watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being in here. If you have ever been emotionally repressed through shame or guilt or abuse, the entire culture within your being has been disturbed. Likewise, if you are utterly ruled by your emotions, there can be no sense of harmony inside you. It is well known how much your emotional state influences your biological health. If you are stressed emotionally, your body will suffer. Emotional problems are the greatest cause of illness on our planet, and the 36th shadow of turbulence, the programming partner of this sixth shadow, reinforces this fact. The 36th shadow conditions you to be nervous when you feel uncertain or insecure about anything in life. It is this nervousness that forms the background frequency of your whole planet, of our whole planet. The biofeedback loop between these two shadows is rooted in nervousness and defensiveness. The 36th shadow makes you nervous, feeding the 6th shadow, which responds through making you behave defensively. Likewise, your own defensiveness makes other people behave in a nervous manner around you. Human beings are unconsciously addicted to conflict. We long for peace individually and globally, but our collective low frequency ensures that we keep reinforcing the patterns of conflict. Do y'all just hear that? These are the gems. The gems. Human beings are unconsciously addicted to conflict. We long for peace individually and globally, but our collective low frequency ensures that we keep reinforcing the patterns of conflict. Enough said. Yes. Nowhere is this seen more clearly than in our relationships. The conflict between male and female is part of the oldest wound there is, and it is hot-wired into our genetics. Very deep. You are genetically sub-programmed to defend yourself from the opposite sex, and until your frequency rises above the emotional gravitational pull of the opposite sex, you can never really know peace. This is the deep irony of the 6th shadow. To bring an end to conflict, you have to give up your attraction to the opposite sex. Sex and war are deeply interrelated. This is a profound and perhaps disturbing truth for many people, and especially so because there is nothing we can do about it. Human sexuality can only be transcended through physiological mutation, which is dependent on the extent of your connection to the higher planes of reality. Okay. When the sixth shadow is viewed at a social level, it dictates the relationships between different racial groups. Here, I know all about conflict. That was a huge part of creating conflict. Here, the genetic defense reflex becomes truly dangerous, since we are sub-programmed to distrust other gene pools and cultures. It is this sixth shadow that first gave birth to the idea of national borders and boundaries. And it is the sixth shadow that is responsible for war. War has been a byproduct of our genetic makeup for millennia. However, the sixth shadow is not as frightening as it sounds when viewed in evolutionary terms. It is an ancient part of our genetics, and it has been a necessary part of our evolution. It ensured that racial diversity existed in the first place, allowing different gene pools to expand and thrive without too much inbreeding. Only relatively recently have all the gene pools begun to merge with each other, which suggests that the human race has arrived at a very important genetic access point. The sixth shadow is about maintaining boundaries and borders. It is about who is included and who is excluded, and its entire basis is defense. The sixth shadow causes you to believe that you have to defend yourself from danger. You can see this at both an individual level and a national level. Your emotional defense strategies are primarily laid down during your second 7-year cycle. From the age of 7 until 14, as you navigate puberty, an enormous amount of life energy is tied up in protecting ourselves from the volatile emotional situations we felt as children. Unless we enter some deep process of deconditioning, we will continue to carry these defenses throughout our adult lives. In the same way, on a national level, we invest the majority of our energy in defense. Ain't that the truth? But is it an illusion? The aggregate world defense budget is equivalent to well over $1,000 billion. One can only imagine how different the world might be were even 1/10 of this sum used in a creative way. The sixth shadow is the reason we cannot create world peace. Until such time as human beings move through an emotional revolution at an individual level and find peace in our relationships, this shadow cannot be transcended. However, as we shall see, it is also written into a human story that revolutions do occur, and in fact, one of the biggest is beginning right now. There's a repressive nature to this shadow and a reactive nature. If you're repressive, you're going to be over attentive. And if you're reactive, you're going to be tactless. Hey, Ellie, welcome in. The repressive nature of the sixth shadow is concerned with maintaining peace between people, regardless of the cost, which sounds kind of ironic, right? This pattern is based entirely upon fear and means that these people will totally compromise themselves in order to maintain control of their emotional environment. This is the defense pattern of over-attentiveness. Nice. And these are the people pleasers. Thanks for inviting. The repressive nature will sweep conflict under the carpet by adopting any behavior that will keep it at bay. The problem here is that unless conflict is dealt with transparently, it tends to eventually explode. Ain't that the truth? The over-attentive nature is at its core deeply false, which means that it will invoke unconscious distrust in others. Over-attentive natures also tend to draw tactless natures to them, resulting in some spectacularly dysfunctional relationships and family dynamics. spectacularly. When these people finally develop the courage to face conflict, they release it. They release it is never as bad as they feared. So the release of it is never as bad as they feared. The reactive nature is tactless. The other side of the sixth shadow is unable to contain its emotions at all. Lack of emotional tact and timing betrays a low frequency nature that inevitably results in a backlash. These people are always finding themselves in difficult emotional situations, which they make worse by giving vent to their anger, as well as projecting it onto others. It is best to be quiet in a situation. You think so, Diana? They are unable to take responsibility for their own volatile feelings. Their most common defense is to lash out and then storm away. Yeah, the dilemma of the tactless nature is that it is deaf to its own lack of tact. These people assume that the problem is always in the other person, which unfortunately earns them no friends and makes it very difficult for others to get close to them. The only kind of person who will remain with such a pattern is the over-attentive nature described above. The secret to breaking this pattern is for reactive natures to take full responsibility for their emotions instead of remaining stuck in teenager mentality. What I like about what you said, Diana, it is better to be quiet in a situation. How I would actually even add to that is it is better to observe before reacting in any situation, right? Or it is better to observe before responding is even a way better way to put it. So reacting, and you don't ever want to react, but you do want to respond, right? And sometimes the response is no response. But being quiet in a situation to me seems like observing, being the observer, like allowing yourself to like be in that space. Yes. Yes, yes. Let's bring that up again. Wow, that is so me. I am trying to change that. Nice. Look up the snowflake personality. Oh, American. I haven't heard of that. Where would you find that? So here the gift is diplomacy. So you move from having all this conflict to this essence of diplomacy. And let's read about what this actually really means, because what we're doing is we're moving into this essence of peace. Like how do we get to true peace, right? How do we get to true peace? So here we go. Here's the gift of diplomacy. Dropping your defenses. What if they're hostile? Yeah, so you have to, obviously there's obviously going to be certain situations where action needs to be taken because your life is being threatened. You know what I mean? Or, somebody's being aggressive towards you. And so, but you can still in that moment not react and still respond in a way that actually will help you save your life. Okay, we can Google it. Dropping your defenses. At a heightened frequency, the sixth gift pulls rapidly away from the world of conflict and argumentation. This is the gift of diplomacy. The ability to adjust your own behavior to create a harmonious exchange with others. This gift is a byproduct of opening your heart to another person. As soon as you become clearer about your own emotional conditioning, you begin to feel, yes, inner and world peace. As you become clear about your own emotional conditioning, you begin to feel more peaceful, because this gift is so deeply connected with the pH balance in your physical body. Talk low and carry a big stick, but don't use it. It also has the effect of stabilizing the emotional aura in your environment. In other words, When one is able to see and own their unconscious projections, they actually rupture the collective shadow patterns wherever they go. If one person is not playing the reaction/blame game, the other is forced to come to terms with his or her own demons. You can see how the balance of pH in the body can be further understood through this gift. For a relationship to be healthy, there must be a balance of yin and yang, of receiving and giving, listening and expressing. Conflict ensues when this balance is lost. American, it's actually Richard Rudd. He's on it. This is what I'm reading from, in case you guys were wondering. The Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. So it's a very, very eye-opening text. Let's just say that. The Chemistry of Karma. Conflict ensues when this balance is lost. The sixth gift has the effect of instantly applying the required amount of give and take in order to maintain peacefulness. Oh, love and light to you too, Roa. As an example, if one person in a relationship becomes aggressive, the diplomatic countermeasure is to absorb the aggression and then pass the energy back without adding anything to it. This may be done in a number of ways, but tactful honesty is one of the most common. Honesty carries an extraordinary power and is one of the one of the keys of diplomacy. The other key is timing. So honesty and timing. You have to be honest in the right way and at the right moment, which is not always easy to do, right? People displaying the sixth gift are always attuned to the right timing of how to act and what to say through the strong resonance field of their aura. Oh, I like this. These people can physically feel into another person's aura. They can do this because it is a specific genetic gift and also because they are emotionally mature. Emotional maturity means that your awareness operates even during the most profound emotional states. As you become more and more aware of your own emotional patterns, the frequency passing through your emotional system is released and quickened. This makes you much more sensitive at an energetic level, like an early warning system for conflict. When you are operating out of the sixth gift, you can sense conflict in others before it even arises. This enables you to temper your own actions and/or words to disperse the conflict. Yes, it is awesome. The gift of diplomacy is far more than the ability to speak the right words, however. There is a mere surface skill that can be mastered by anyone, even at a low frequency. True diplomacy is an energetic gift operating through a person's aura. Because this sixth gene key is so embedded within human sexuality, it is about the penetration of borders and boundaries. Because the sixth shadow, but one part of the relationship gives up on that relationship, how does the other keep going? Well, then the other one, oh, thank you for the super hearts, Mary. If one person in a relationship decides to sort of be in this like energy of diplomacy that they're talking about, the other person has no choice but to like truly look at their actions. And they can react if they want to, but really that's not up to you. You know what I mean? You can only do what you can do on your end. And then it's up to other people. It's other people's responsibility how they choose to react or respond. Because the sixth gene key is so embedded within human sexuality, it is about the penetration of borders and boundaries. Because of the sixth shadow, there is a tremendous friction between the opposite sexes. Both sides are so busy defending their individuality that there is very little real love or connection. But this friction is maintained only as long as each party hangs on to its defenses. Well, that can be said about a lot of stuff, right? As the sixth gift enters into human relationships, the emotional barriers begin to break down between people. The sixth gift catalyzes the process of dissolving the natural friction between opposites, and in doing so, it allows a far greater exchange of energy between them. This is exactly what the experience of falling in love is. As part of the chemical genetic family known as the Ring of Alchemy, the sixth gift is playing a pivotal role in the transformation of the human species. This codon ring is formed by 4 gene keys: the 6th, the 40th, the 47th, and the 64th, whose themes are diplomacy, resolve, transmutation, and imagination, respectively. This is a very powerful genetic grouping. The sixth gift is breaking down the barriers in human relationships. The 40th gift is forging this new openness into our communities. The 47th gift is allowing us to transform our old ways. And the 64th gift is opening us to a fresh set of possibilities for living in a new way. At a collective level, therefore, every person manifesting the sixth gift is a participant in this deep alchemical process of gradually bringing peace to earth. These people realize how throttling defensiveness can be, both in individuals, cultures, and whole races. As this gift enters the world in a more widespread manner, as indeed it must, we shall begin to see the dismantling of some of the many types of borders and barriers that keep people apart from each other. What do you guys think about that so far? One thing I love about how he talks about these concepts and words and terms is the fact that he says a word. He uses a word like diplomacy, right? And then we would normally think like we know what it means, but he brings another energy of meaning into it, into all of these words. And I love that. It's like fresh eyes, you know, new concepts that are very, very mind activating. Like they make you rethink what you think about the world. And that's important because in order for us to break our old patterns of thinking, we need to find new patterns of thinking. You have such a bright yellow aura around you now. Oh, cool. Nice. So we're moving towards this energy of peace. And one thing I want to say about the city, which also means the divine gift, I don't understand how he compared it to falling in love. Let's see if we can go back to that. Well, basically what I was going to say is that you're moving from one energy to the next, and then fully transcending from one polarity to the next, and then transcending the entire like system of polarity into the gift, the divine gift, the city. So he says, the author of the book, whose name is Richard Rudd, he says, but this friction is maintained only as long as each party hangs on to its defenses. As the sixth gift enters into human relationships, the emotional barriers begin to break down between people. The sixth gift catalyzes the process of dissolving the natural friction between opposites, and in doing so, it allows a far greater exchange of energy between them. This is exactly what the experience of falling in love is. That's what he's talking about. Did that clarify a little bit for you, Greenie? You think of diplomacy as politics, but I'm hearing something different, right? Right? It's a new way of looking at the term. It's like, this is actually what true diplomacy really means, instead of like what your perception of it is. When you really like go deep into these subjects, you get to a point where you're going way beyond what the normal or the most likely thought of definition of these words is. And I like that because he's done a lot of research, and you can tell he's done a lot of research, a lot of gathering of information to be able to explain it, right? Because one thing is seeing it and feeling it and And the other one is trying to explain it to somebody else, right? So let me do my best. So he says the sixth gift catalyzes the process of dissolving the natural friction between two opposites, or between opposites. And in doing so, it allows a far greater exchange of energy between them. So earlier he said that basically there's this like friction between men and women. And in the energy of being in love, and this is in my words, okay? You need to believe more in yourself and stop referring to him. Okay. I am referring to him though, because he's writing this stuff. I do believe in myself. The true path to peace is to have no opinions. That's funny. Toke the ghost. So let me see if I can explain this. Hang on. As the sixth gift enters into human relationships, so the sixth gift of diplomacy enters into human relationships, the emotional barriers begin to break down between people. Okay, so the emotional barriers. So the energy, so what's the energy of being in love, right? The energy of being in love is like, it's almost like I mean, in the beginning, it's like the other person can't do wrong. You know what I mean? It's like, there's just, that's not there. There is no friction. It's like always a yes. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always a yes. So I think what he's referring to is that like that kind of friction is released. It's like it gets taken away by the sixth gift, because it catalyzes the process of dissolving the natural friction between opposites, and in doing so, it allows a far greater exchange of energy between them. Okay, yeah, that's actually, that part, it's actually interesting. That part, I don't know exactly what he means. A far greater exchange of energy between them. How does that relate to falling in love? How does falling in love allow a far greater exchange of energy between people? Well, I think it's because that barrier is down. So it's like you give and you take, there's no resistance, right? That's kind of what's coming to me. So anyways, that's my little interpretation of what we just read. Feel free to put up other opinions too, you guys. So we're going to talk about the sixth city, which is peace. So building the body of glory. The ultimate defense is emptiness. This is an essence of the wisdom taught by the great sages. Defense maintains the illusion that we are separate. As such, it is truly futile because it protects against something that doesn't really exist in the first place. Okay? There is a famous story called The Empty Boat, told by the Chinese sage Chuang-Tzu. This is actually a really cool story, you guys. Submission leaves us defenseless because everything meshes, you blend with the other person like almost being one. Right, yeah, I like that. So here's the story. One day, an old man was crossing a river in his boat when he mistakenly collided with another boat. The man in the second boat began shouting at the old man, cursing him. However, to the second man's dismay, the old man did not react in any way whatsoever, but just stared at him impassively. So this goes back to who said the true path to peace is to have no opinions. That's interesting. So here we go. So the man is sitting there and then impassively staring at the other one who's cursing him. The old man was an enlightened being who had transcended all sense of his own individuality. So in a way, like, yeah, dude, there's no more opinions, right? For him, this is crazy. For him, there was no one in his boat to be shouted at. Thus, there was no one to defend, and therefore no reaction within his being. Did you hear that? For him, there was no one in his boat to be shouted at. Thus, there was no one to defend and therefore no reaction within his being. Like, whoa, that just takes you to like a whole nother planet of understanding. Dang. So the sixth city of peace is one of the truly great cities. Yeah, that's DNA behind me. It is the underlying nature of all the cities. Wow. In point of fact, it is the underlying nature of form itself, once its true essence has been realized as consciousness. The sixth city is the final result of the process that occurs in the sixth gift. The sixth gift is marked by a constant balancing of opposites. In this sense, diplomacy requires a subtle effort, since it is juggling within the realms of duality. However, at a certain point, are you a Cancerine? No, I'm a Gemini. However, at a certain point, this process spontaneously gives way to the sixth city, and duality itself is transcended. You might say that whilst the sixth gift is the activity that maintains peacefulness, the sixth city is peace itself. Wow, that's a really cool way of looking at it. So duality, diplomacy maintains the peace, but the sixth city is actually peace itself. Peace is the reality that is experienced once all boundaries have dissolved. Peace is the reality that is experienced once all boundaries have dissolved. It is the true nature of humanity. So many great teachers have spoken of the peace of the sixth city. When Jesus stated that the kingdom of heaven has already arrived, but that people simply cannot see it, he was talking about this city. Can you tell me why certain people give me a bad feeling even though they didn't do anything? Well, that's your intuition. You might be being empathic and sensing something that they're not showing, that's going on within them, that it's not showing to the naked eye, but you can feel it, and you should probably listen to your intuition. Peace is an auric emanation that surrounds anyone in a acidic state. Inner Adventures by Chris P. Simon, an amazing book, Amazon book. Cool. Peace is an auric emanation, meaning it comes from your aura, that surrounds anyone in acidic state, which means peace surrounds you. Ooh, wow, that's actually a great affirmation. Peace surrounds me. In this acidic state, the awareness within your being separates from your emotional nature. It rises up and floats upon the vibrations of your emotional longing. This is a spontaneous process that cannot be caused by anything within your individuality, since it is that very individuality that has to die. Thanks, you're very interesting. My first time here. Well, welcome in, Barlin. I appreciate it. Thanks for the question. The underlying emotional energy that was previously experienced as longing is now experienced as peace. So it was longing and now is experienced as peace. Awareness is no longer trapped within the vicissitudes of the emotional human drama. Whoa, can you imagine your awareness like going somewhere else? That's crazy to think about, right? We're so in it, like we're so in the moment, like in the emotions, in the drama, and can you imagine can you visualize your awareness like going out into your aura instead of being like, you know what I mean? I don't even know how to describe it, but this is crazy. The final, in the deepest sense, with your lover, when you're wrong, admit it, and when you're right, shut up. That's hilarious. In the deepest sense, I'm sure there's better ways to go about any kind of conflict in relationship, and the best communication is the communication between two people that are aware, right? That are aware of human nature, that are aware of their own negative patterns, that are aware of the things they're trying to like change about themselves or make right about themselves, that are in a space to like truly listen to the other person, and like they're in a space to like actually hold space for both of them to heal through the process, and who are not attached to the outcome. They're not attached to a certain outcome in any kind of conversation. It's more like, even if, so if you take it to the extreme, like, right, there's a major conflict, and it's like, what happens is, what needs to happen is the couple needs to split or separate in order for each of them to like rise higher in their vibrational frequencies. So if like both people can see that true essence of like growth and humanity, then that's the best kind of communication. But if one person can't see it at all and the other one can, it's not like, you're not on even ground. And that's more challenging, to be in conversation with someone who doesn't have the expanded awareness that some people have, right? And surrounding other things or people or other things, it is fascinating that you can think something, but there's no sound. So you have a thought, but there's no sound. But then sometimes you hear in your head. Sometimes you hear sounds in your head. How do you explain that one? Right? You can hear music. Crazy. So when this occurs, like so, in the deepest sense, something utterly wondrous happens inside of you. The final boundary, the boundary of your body, dissolves. When this occurs, awareness is no longer localized in the body, but is experienced as traveling through all forms. You realize that all of life is alive, and that even though the awareness within your body may dissolve as the form passes away, the consciousness behind this game of life and death always remains. This is making me cry. Oh wow, I hear a lot of stuff in my head. I could listen to you all day. Oh wow, well nice, thanks. The sense of peace that emanates from these revelations is incredible. Yes, all of your defenses disappear and your boat becomes empty. Paradoxically, at the same time, this very emptiness is flooded by everythingness. Thank you for the super hearts, Kai. How are you? Welcome in. Profound changes occur within our physical body before, during, and after this realization. Since your outer walls have dissolved, the process is mirrored within your body chemistry, and all inner conflict comes to an end. Mind blown. It is as though all the cells within your body make peace with each other and experience their own inner Garden of Eden. In this sense, the true Garden of Eden is the body itself. Wait, what? Wait, what? In this sense, the true Garden of Eden is the body itself. The waves of peace that accompany this event travel deep into the collective consciousness of all humanity. To be in the physical presence of the sixth city is to bathe your body in its truth. Nice. It is to experience greater awareness than your own. Wait, what? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, let me start that section over, okay? We start that part over. What? What? In this sense, the true Garden of Eden is in your body itself. The waves of peace that accompany this event travel deep into the collective consciousness of all humanity. To be in the physical presence of the sixth city, which is peace, is to bathe your body in its truth. It is to experience greater awareness than your own, traveling physically and emotionally through your body. It's like something like, it's like the essence of peace just like passing through you. Because you've actually, because it's everywhere, but it's a frequency that we can't always align with because it's such a high frequency. But when you like align to it, it's like bathing in it because you finally feel it. Whoa. Oh, there is, my friends, there is. Here we go. Because the current human form is not designed for these heightened states of consciousness, some strange phenomena can occur within the body of someone experiencing this siddhi. The sixth siddhi is the original and the future state of humanity. From it stem our myths and memories of paradise and our intuitions and highest hopes for the future. When this state dawns inside you, your body begins to mutate. In a sense, it is trying to build a better vehicle to house this intense new frequency. But the raw materials are not fully present yet. Humankind is still evolving the energetic circuitry that can carry these frequencies. Oh, thank you, Stefan, or Steven. I don't know which one it is. I know somebody who spells your name like you do, and you say it's Steven. So if it's Stefan, is it Stefan or Steven? Better than sex. This is why so many great sages suddenly become deceased. What? In particular, they can experience problems and imbalances within the body's pH. These things occur because the body is trying to catch up to its future state. Whoa! Regardless of what is experienced physically, the sense of utter peace does not even flicker. Stephen, nice. I thought it was. In certain rare cases, the elements of the future body are available through your genetics, and the process of building the future body can and does continue. This involves the 47th siddhi of transfiguration, part of the ring of alchemy mentioned earlier. The sixth siddhi has a very special quality in this sense, in that it contains instructions on how to build a new genetic form. It is interesting to note that glycine, the amino acid for which the 6 gene key codes, is one of the only amino acids discovered in interstellar clouds in deep space. What? Let me read that one again. Whoa. It is interesting to know that glycine, the amino acid for which the 6 gene key codes, is one of the only amino acids discovered in interstellar clouds in deep space. The suggestion is that this amino acid may play a key role in the formation of new life in the galaxy. This new form of humanity is connected to this issue of the body's pH and also to the boundaries within the body itself. Just breathe, Carla. Just breathe through it. The ultimate boundary is our skin, and one effect of this siddhi can be mutations in the skin. These mutations affect the way in which skin cells trap light, so that the skin of someone manifesting this siddhi can appear to be translucent. Holy shit, you guys. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you were alive when Jesus was here? I mean, he was an ascended master. Like, he was probably like translucent as fuck. You know what I mean? It sounds hilarious. Like, can you imagine? Have you seen this? Has anyone seen this? I'm really curious. Continuing on. If the 47th city is also involved in the process, even more extraordinary phenomenon occurs. The transfiguration of the human body into what the ancients called the rainbow body, or the body of glory. No justice, no peace. This transfiguration will eventually overtake our entire species. Not from radiation though, just kidding. The builder of this process is the sixth city. As our skin cells learn to capture light, our digestive system will gradually become defunct, since light contains the ultimate nutrients for the subtle body. Okay, that one just blew my mind. That's fucking crazy. In a good way. Wow. As our skin cells learn to capture light, our digestive system will gradually become defunct, since light contains the ultimate nutrients for the subtle body. As far as the pH of the body is concerned, this spiritualization of the physical form will gradually weaken the extremes of the pH scale, thereby reducing the acidity of alkalinity of the body. Reducing the acidity and alkalinity of the body. Eventually, as all the because it's a powerful message. And when there's powerful messages that come through, you might cry. You might have emotions. Let them flow. Don't be afraid of them. Just let them flow. Eventually, as all the solutions within the body become neutralized, the hydrogen ions that form the very basis of the pH scale will evaporate and the body will disappear altogether. What? On a collective level, the sixth city will be the very last city to fully mutate in the coming shift in global consciousness. Only when peace is recognized on Earth as the natural state of our collective consciousness can the future vehicle of humanity be built. In other words, the myth of world peace is the pretext for building the future body that will take us beyond form itself. He's talking about deep stuff that is within you, that is being activated as you contemplate and hear these words. This is why, this is how this works. All you have to do is contemplate. Contemplate what you're hearing, what you're listening to. That's all it takes. And so you're going to like have emotional responses to this, especially if you're like searching for something better in your life, if you're searching for more light, right? Especially if you're a light worker, because you're going to feel like reaching towards that. I mean, put your hands up if you feel like reaching towards it. Like, do you have a desire to reach towards this like city of peace, right? And yes, some of it is like scary AF. What? Our bodies are going to dissolve? Like what? Right? So these things are going to be challenging for us to comprehend, but that's what it is. So the release, the emotional release is important. It's part of the process. A friend of mine swore he has seen miracles from his spiritually enlightened friends. Oh, it's miracles are everywhere. Miracles happen everywhere. Yeah, right? Me too. the point is not to feel like, like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? It's like, stop trying to understand it and just let it happen. Do you know what I mean? I have to drop my ancient past and find my own identity. Without it, I feel like I am nothing. But the point is like that we are moving into a state of nothing, right? Nothing and everything at the same time. You dissolve this finite consciousness, awareness, ego, right? Into everything. You become everything. And then you become nothing at the same time. Don't be scared, people. Don't be scared. Fear actually is a driving force for a lot of us. Sometimes we fear changes in our lives because we're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of what's on the other side. We're afraid of what could be. But if you have a gut, like instinctual or intuitive feeling, intuitive feeling that you want to ascend, that you want to learn about this stuff, that you want a better whatever for your life, then you have to be okay with going through the change. And you have to activate the energy of courage in your life, because that courage is what's going to guide you despite the fear. Courage is the ability to move forward despite fear, right? When you think of courageous warriors or courageous whatever, right? It's like, it's not that they weren't afraid. It's that they did what they had to do, or what they, their intuition told them to do, despite being scared, because they believed in something bigger, because they had faith. Faith will carry you through more than anything else. I promise you that. It has in my life, and although it's been really challenging at times, faith is the one thing that has always carried me through the hard times. Always. So focus on your faith. What do you have faith in, right? Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyways. I agree with that. Why is it painful to face it? I guess I can understand that. You're going through the grief of it. Then let yourself go through the grief of it, right? Courage equals determination. Oh, I like that. I like that. So our next, let me see. Thank you for the super hearts, by the way, you guys. Our next broadcast of this show, which is called The Awakening, uncovering the hidden power of your DNA, just like right behind me, is going to be about the 7th gene key. The 7th gene key, by the way, does anyone have the 6th gene key in their chart? I don't think I do. I still have to print out my charts. I think I might go print them out right now. But the 7th gene key is about, it's called the virtue in its own reward. Virtue in its own reward. It goes from the shadow of division to the gift of guidance and to the city of virtue. I'm really curious as to whether I have this gene key. I've always ran from this and I can't anymore. No back button. I've always, a lot of us have. And there is no turning back. Once you've walked through that portal, there is no going back. You're going to have to find a magic bean. And even then, you might not go back to the same world that you thought you were in. So, that was a Once Upon a Time reference. The obsession with the Once Upon a Time show. I don't know, was waiting for the book to come before printing my chart. No, print it now. Print it now. Frame it, put it on your wall. Start to look at it. Hey, Embrasable, welcome in. I'm savage like that. No, that's what I would do. Just print it and start looking at it. Familiarize yourself with it. All right, you guys. We're going to end this broadcast. Make sure that you follow me here. There's no way for me to do a follow request. But follow me here on this channel if you're new to my broadcast. Let me know where you're tuning in from if you're new. Hola! And I have to face everything and recover. Or you can just walk away from it. What's there to recover from if it's all an illusion, right? You're welcome, Kai. There's only moving forward. No! But wait, there's more! I am going to go live in an hour to do sound healing. Okay? So I'm going to come back in exactly an hour and we're going to do sound healing. I have a gong, I have singing bowls, I have the flute, I have my guitar. Hi from New Jersey. Well, thank you so much. Steven, I hope you follow me. Hey, Bombflower. Welcome in. And tell me if you scope too. Thanks, Mary. These broadcasts, I think, are going to start to build momentum. Hi, new here from El Paso, but my heart remains in Cali. I love that. That's so sweet. Thank you, Magali. Wonderful broadcast. I love you, Jai. Love you too, guys. And thank you for being here. Honestly, this is really fun. It's fun for me to like read to you guys. Really fun. Okay, here we go. About to end this broadcast. Make sure to follow me. So, okay, it's all good. So that you guys can be here for the sound healing scope in an hour. And tomorrow we'll do another awakening scope. So here's what I decided, because I do the miracle mornings, but I can't do them on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays because I go to yoga and my whole morning is basically, hey Mandel, is basically based on me getting ready for that. So like taking the dogs out, getting ready, taking a shower, eating breakfast, blah, blah, blah. So my whole time is like for that. And when I come back, it's already the afternoon. So it doesn't make sense to do a miracle morning, but I am going to do the miracle morning broadcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays mornings, and maybe even Saturdays and Sundays. Okay. Just bought the audiobook, Gene Key. Nice. Did you know I was doing this broadcast? Like, did you buy it because you saw the broadcast or like on your own? Because that's cool. Thank you, Magali. Hola. All the super hearts I have are yours, Jai. Oh, that's sweet. Okay. So this time, wait, I'm going to wait for Imbrasable to respond. Let me show you the book one more time for those of you guys that are curious in getting it. And also, make sure you check out, make sure you check out my website, eaglestaryoga.com. It's at the bottom of the screen. And please follow me on YouTube. I have posted 2 new videos, one yesterday and one today. I started a new series of YouTube videos called the Lightworker series. And there's going to be different ways, hey Karina, different ways of activating your own inner power. So learning information about how to truly step into your Lightworker purpose. This is part of it. So the Gene Keys is a huge part of it. Thanks for inviting. But that's what that series is all about. I'm going to go through different topics. The topic that I put up there is how to pick your own oracle deck. Nice, that's awesome, Embrasable. Cool. So how to pick the perfect oracle deck for you, and it goes into a little bit of using actually a pendulum. Like I teach you how to use a pendulum in that video. And I also teach you how to basically connect with your intuition. And if you're like just now getting into this whole idea of like, maybe there's a higher purpose for me and I want to bring more light to the world, this is a way to start to dive into this topic. I'm going to start with like little baby steps, and we're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper into different concepts. Eventually, sometime in March, I believe, I'm going to run an 8-week course called the Earth School for Lightworkers, where we're going to go into even more depth these like little topics that I'm going to be posting about in on YouTube. So the YouTube videos will give you a little bit of like insight into certain topics, and then the Lightworker School, the Earth School for Lightworkers, will be an opportunity for us to, in a group, like go through this process together of truly figuring out, first of all, like what is your purpose. So what we're going to do in the Lightworker Earth School is we're going to look at your gene keys. We're going to look at your numerology, your tantric numerology. Of course I do. You're going to look at your astrology. So we're going to look at all of that as part of that training, because obviously stepping into your purpose, it's like there's a huge map of who you are, and the map is found with these like three main things. And so to look at that, it will give you a huge step forward in your awareness. And I'm going to have, actually this just came to me right now, like I'm going to have like guest speakers for that Earth School of for Lightworkers that are going to talk a little bit about astrology, because that's not my strongest point, but I am fascinated by astrology. So having someone come in and give us like a real talk is going to be actually really, really exciting. So I'm sorry, I didn't get upset, Stephen. I didn't get upset. Yes, I totally believe in God. It's all good. Yeah, it's funny, but as soon as I had that reaction to your comment, I like regretted it. I was like, why did I react like that? But yes, I do. I definitely believe in God. I don't follow any kind of like religion, because to me, religion is sort of just another form of mind manipulation, like mind control. But there's other ways to be spiritual, and that's what I teach. So I teach how to truly be spiritual, how to, you know, through your intuition, make your way to discover your own truth, and not let someone else tell you what your truth is. That's what I believe in. So, Jai, the universe sent me to you so I can learn to my best self for the world. Yeah, love that. So anyways, that's what's going to be happening sometime in March. I haven't come up with a date yet. I always look at the astrology to make sure I find the perfect date, and usually it comes to me, but we have some time. But that's going to be happening, so make sure you're on the lookout for that. So follow my YouTube channel. The other video is I play music and I sing, if you didn't know. I have uploaded a video that is of me covering the song Hallelujah. So make sure to follow that YouTube channel and check out those videos. Make sure you like them and leave a comment if you would like. I am trying to grow my YouTube channel, so it would be really helpful if you guys could do that if you haven't yet. And kindness is a great religion. Yes, I love that. So anyways, thank you for being here in this broadcast. Thank you, Dawn, for the super hearts. Thank you, Greenie, for the super hearts. Thank you, Melinda, for the super hearts. And thank you, Kai, for the super hearts. I truly appreciate it. My name is Jai. I'm Jai Gobind, and I am your channel for grace. This is your channel for grace. That's what I call it. So I will see you guys in about an hour for our sound healing journey. It's a really nice way to end the evening. I do that every Wednesday, and I hope you have, yes, Jai, awesome rest of your evening. If I don't see you, I will, if I don't see you tonight, then I will see you tomorrow. You're welcome, you guys. Sat Nam. Ciao.